The TF2 community has only one topic in mind at the moment. When will the heavy update drop in the future? But the real question is, does the heavy need an update?
Mr. Dispenser!
Hello everyone, Mr. Dispenser here. A heavy health pool, a heavy model and a heavy minigun. Today we talk about the heavy weapons guy. If you look at the many posts about the most and least played classes, heavy always shows up at the bottom, besides medic. But why is it so? I mean, he has lots of weapons in his arsenal, and he's the mascot of the game. Why does no one play the Russian guy? And can that be fixed in the heavy update? I think you can summarize Heavy's problems in a short song. I'm holding on. Why does nobody play heavy? Holding on. He's such a good carry. I've been blaming my spies and snipers all around, but they don't switch their classes. Holding on. Why does nobody play heavy? I'm sorry. I think that was not the right approach. Maybe, if we take a look at his strengths and weaknesses, we see the core problem. Okay, let's start with the weaknesses first. Newer players, in the most part, only want to play the class that is cool looking and fast. Heavy is slow. I think that's one of the key weaknesses. And even though the heavy has lots of sex appeal, I can see why you would not pick him. Besides his big gun, his attributes are not that well defined. But his model shows something different. He is big and strong and therefore can take a lot of damage. That's a blessing but also a curse. You see, if you are slow and have lots of health, classes like Sniper or Scout will focus you down. Heavy is one of the easiest classes to headshot, and Scout is designed to kill, and that in a fast way. That was also demonstrated in the Meet the Scout video. With his scattergun, he can just shoot at the heavy weapons guy and get so much damage out of it. But the heavy shines in a different scenario, and that's the element of surprise. Heavy is a tank, and therefore he can tank a lot of damage. If a heavy gets his position right, he is very heavy to kill, hinted by his name. He becomes almost unkillable if he gets healed by a medic or dispenser. There's even an achievement for living long as heavy. Heavy's strengths lie in his reliability. If he does strong, he is strong. He can mow down entire teams on his own if he plays clever. To sum up the heavy class, he is very powerful if he plays his cards right. But his weaknesses are well defined and therefore define how you should play him. His slowness and big model make him in certain situations just a bit too weak. When we look at the topic of the heavy update, I don't think we should hope for some of his core mechanics to change. If heavy would be less tanky and therefore quicker, it would ruin the fundamental weaknesses and strengths, and the class would be too strong. Heavy is not broken, like Pyro was. He's just not played that much. So maybe the lack of varieties you can play him is the problem. A post on Reddit from Chef T1234 explains that the heavy is just stuck with one playstyle. There's no variety in this gameplay. Every heavy has to shoot the minigun, should use a lunchbox and only rarely uses melee weapons. Heavy is stuck in the same pattern for all games. Let's take a look at his primary weapons. All Heavy's miniguns function pretty much the same. It's like shoot and ya-da-da-da-da-da. There's not much choice in his playstyle. Heavy's primary arsenal isn't that big, and I would say he only got two viable miniguns. First, the normal minigun and the reskins does good damage and is reliable, just like every other stock. And the second is the Tomislav. Shoots the bullets way better, you can even sometimes outsnipe a sniper. And the quick deployment and silent ref is good in combat. All other primaries of Heavy are not that good. Brass Beast adds slowness to an already steady class. Extra damage is good, no argument there, but Heavy becomes more a sentry than a class with this gun. Natasha, slowing effect is nice, but minus 25% damage? Oof, that's not worth it at all. Also slow rev, not that good of a weapon. And the Hulan hitter is more of a gimmick. Only viable if you own the payload, and the fire is just a boring mechanic. Could be way more interesting. Okay, we see a lack of choices in variety in Heavy's miniguns. Maybe the Heavy update could add some new primary weapon that will mix up Heavy's playstyle, like the Dragon's Fury did for Pyro back at Jungle Inferno. Okay, let's look at the secondaries. Maybe we find different playstyle here. I must really say the only weapons you should use while playing are the lunchbox items. For everyone who doesn't know what it is, it's the edible weapons for Heavy. Lunch, to be more exact. But which one is the best? Sandwich, obviously. It gives you 300 HP back, and if you throw it, it's a medium-sized health pack. It's insanely powerful. But also the second banana. It's 2 times quicker than a sandwich and heals you 200 HP, and is also a small HP packs for teammates. It's super fun to use and takes second place. And the last useful lunchbox is the Dracula's bar. The extra 50 HP can save your ass on many occasions. Also it heals 100 health and is a small health pack. Okay, now we need to talk about the elephant in the room. The steak sandwich. It pains to say, but this is just a shitty weapon. The Heavy has a subclass as a slow knight. The idea is not the best, and making the slowest class slightly quicker but melee locked is just idiotic. Heavy stays too slow and never reaches another player. I don't know if the TF2 team wanted to create a Demonite too or something, but Demonite is just so much quicker than Heavy. This weapon is just not good and it needs a rework now. Some resistances, or not melee locked, would make this way better and actually a good alternative to the sandwich or the banana. What about the shotguns, you say? Well, Heavy has a second subclass, also known as the Fat Scout. Fat Scout, you know I love you, but I'm sorry. It's just not good. You're just a slower scout with more health. Scout is fast and agile. He can jump around the map with his double jump, he can flank with his speed. The quicker the scout, the deadlier he is. Scout speed is his strength, and with Heavy you're just dragging yourself across the map, hoping that the enemy don't see you so that you can flank. But that's also extra hard, giving the big player model. Now something very controversial, but I think Heavy's melees are all very neat. It's a part of the Heavy loadout I added the most and that I experiment the most with. Some are more of a gimmick than others, but they are all very different and have fun designs, so I think you can see that that's the most balanced gameplay wise in my opinion. So does the Heavy need an update? Yes, of course. Heavy needs some fresh wind because he is stuck in that weird place where you can only play him this specific way. There is not much you can do besides his stock loadout. Best example for a good loadout mix is the Demo Man. He can go Sticky Bomb, Grenade Launcher, or just stickies. Then there's the whole possibility to change area denial for some good movement. But wait, there's even more. Why use explosive at all, if you can use sword? Valve even made specific items for only Demo Knight. These specific weapons give the Demo Knight some sort of buffs that make the subclass way better. So why not the same for the Heavy? This example shows how much potential the Heavy is missing. He needs some different playstyles. I think if there was more variety in his gameplay, people would start to see how much fun this anti-commie guy really is. Also, people need to see that Heavy is fun, even in the state he is in right now. Immensely powerful and a fun character. The Heavy deserves his spot as the mascot from TF2. This marks the end of the video. What do you guys think about the Heavy update and the class itself? Tell me in the comments below. Also, don't forget to subscribe and also check out Twitch. I wish you a very happy day and I hope I will see you in the next video. Mr. Dispenser out. Big shout out to my brother Alex for making the Source Filmmaker part and the thumbnail. They're just so amazing. Thank you, Alex. That was really amazing work.